Hello everyone and welcome to our training video for today. So if you signed up for my free email list, you also got a free bookkeeping checklist that comes with that. And if you have not signed up for email and you want the bookkeeping checklist, below in the comment area you will be able to get the link on how to get all that information. So I'm starting with this as the training today because most of my clients ask me, especially on initial interviews, what information do I need? How can I start helping them in their business? So this is a checklist that's very easy to hand out so they know what papers or documents or digital files to gather and send to me so I can assist them get their system built up and moving forward. But this is not just a checklist to start the process forever. This is also a checklist for a monthly, at least a monthly interaction with your bookkeeper. So if you will look here, now we will switch over to the checklist, and on the checklist you will see there are many options here. Okay, so this checklist are things that you need to gather. Now, some people like to have their records up to date monthly. Some people like it weekly, some people like it daily, but the ultimate goal is so that we have all this information gathered so you as the business manager can look at those reports and make informed decisions on what's best for your company. But that also has the added benefit is if you keep this up on a normal basis, then at the end of the year when it's time for taxes, you just simply have to hit print, send those forms to your tax accountant, and you're done. There's no spending weeks and hours and days going through piles of papers looking for all the right documentation, and tax season is much less stressful. So let's go over this real quick. Bank statements. So every company typically has a bank. Now I do know some businesses are 100% cash, but hopefully you have a bank that makes it easier for things like cashing checks. Okay, so bank statements, you may have 3 bank statements, you may have way more than that, but this is just where a good starting point is. So you need your bank statements, you need the deposit slips, the check stubs, the canceled checks, the receipts, anything that would go with that bank statement needs to be gathered. Then we have credit card statements. So if your business has credit cards, then this would be the information. And again, the same as with bank statements, receipts, anything to back up that statement would also need to be gathered. Sales invoices is what I have next. Sales invoice is something you have created for a sale for your customer. So for example, if you handwrite a receipt when they purchased a product, if you're a lawn care business and you're out in the field and you have a receipt book that you write all your information down, any of that information needs to be given to your bookkeeper. That way your bookkeeper can enter it in your system and all your records are accurate. And then we have our merchant statements. So merchant statements, sometimes people are unaware they have, sometimes they're aware they have but they don't care, but your bookkeeper cares because that helps you keep all your information all together, makes your management reports better for you so you can make better informed decisions. Merchant statements can include anything like PayPal, Square, Visa, MasterCard, anything that helps you accept credit cards from your customers. All right, and then loan statements. So loan statements would be anything for a building that you own, a car that you own. And on your loan statement, it's going to have how much was principal and how much was interest. And sometimes you don't get an actual statement till the end of the year, but every month you should have maybe at least a bill that has that detailed information of how much was principal and how much was interest. All right, then a cash register. So cash registers, you could have a physical cash register if you have a storefront and you're selling products, and you would need to keep track of all the receipts and information that compile that. Some companies just have a cash box because they need some extra cash in the business just so they can run out and buy stamps, so they can buy paper, so they can treat everybody to coffee someday, whatever you may need cash for. But in that cash register, you should be keeping all the receipts or have a register of an actual physical paper register that you're writing all those income and expenses out of so your bookkeeper can reconcile that information in your accounting software. All right, and then we're going to get down here to vendor expenses. So for vendor expenses there, I mean any bills. So any bills or expense outside of anything you would have provided before would be included in this section. So if you had some kind of receipt or something that hasn't showed up on your bank statement, for example, bank statement would only be the end of the month. So at the end of January, you may still have some receipts or expenses that you don't have on the bank statement yet, but you still need to enter in your accounting software. So this is what that section is for. Then you may have business expenses that paid by an owner. Now, if you're a sole proprietor, absolutely, there's a lot of businesses expensed usually by an individual, either the owner or an employee, and you've used your personal card, you've used cash. Any records along with that need to be gathered. Some companies have a process where you gather those individual expenses, you fill out a reimbursement form, and then you move on. So whichever process your company does, that information needs to again be given to your bookkeeper. All right, so your payroll. Like I have a lot of clients that use QuickBooks, they use QuickBooks Payroll. It all communicates well. There's not really a whole lot of stuff to do behind the scenes. There's no extra work for your bookkeeper to fix. However, I do have clients that use QuickBooks and then they use a third-party software like ADP, and so you need to make sure that that is either syncing and communicating with each other, or you need to be able to hand your bookkeeper the digital file download from your payroll software or paper printouts, whatever system works best for your company. And then also some companies have sales tax forms. So those sales tax forms are important usually if you sell a product. There are some services that are taxed. For example, vacation rental property is a tax. That's a service. So any of that information on your sales, make sure your bookkeeper has all those records so that they can fill out those forms and send them to the government entities that need them, and the payments are made also. All right, so businesses are always changing. If anything, this last year told us that businesses are always changing, and we have things that happen in them. So sometimes we have to get new loans. For example, the PPP loan was a new loan that a lot of businesses got. So your bookkeeper definitely needs to know the dates of those, the amount of those, so any paperwork that would have to do with that information as well needs to be given to your bookkeepers. And then if you have any purchase of equipment, a new vehicle, a new building, a new giant printer, a new small printer, anything that you would have that is an equipment purchase also needs to be given to your bookkeeper. And then finally, any information, correspondence that you have with a government agency. Sometimes the IRS will send you letters that say you owe penalty interest. Sometimes your state will send you information about the F&E taxes. Sometimes you get letters about the interest change on your workman's comp or your unemployment insurance. Whatever those letters are, your bookkeeper needs to know so that they can change and adjust the software accordingly. So this is all of the checklist, and if you're my client, I do send this out to you. I do change the name at the top, bank accounts, all that, make it a little bit more personalized and helpful for you. And so brief overview of what you need every period that you would like your reports done accurately. All right, so the next screen you're going to see is all the links to all my stuff, how to get a hold of me, how to contact me if you want. And if you want comments, you have questions, go ahead, feel free, put those down below. I will check them and get back to you. So here's the end picture, the ending information for how to get a hold of me. So hope to talk to you guys soon.